Hello, English 6. Welcome back to class. This is Mr. Pigeon. Let's jump right in. Today we're going to be going over satire, irony, sarcasm, and a little bit more fun. Isn't it ironic? Look at the picture. Seems a little ironic. What's the difference? Sarcasm is often an exaggerated form of irony used to mock or show contempt. It's usually meant to hurt. Irony is usually directed at a situation and usually isn't meant to hurt, not meant to improve things, merely just to observe the ridiculous situations that people find themselves in. Now, satire, though, is ridiculing human weakness in order to bring about human change. Now, the key word there is change. Satire's intent is to change something. Ultimately, most satire is trying to draw attention to a situation in the hopes that it will be fixed. Here's an example of some satire. If you take a look at Homer, a literary genre that uses irony, wit, and sometimes sarcasm to mock. It often shows problems with society, usually hopes to change them. Common targets of satire include individuals, like personal satire, that's called, types of people, social groups, institutions, and human nature. So it's not necessarily just a person, but people in general, and kind of to talk about the human spirit. Now, there's different types of satire. The two major types are indirect and direct. Now, indirect satire is communicated through characters in a situation, right? Direct satire is directly stated, so they actually just outright state what the satire is. So it's it's within the dialogue even. There's some examples of some TV shows that use satire. They actually use all those techniques, but a common technique of satire is exaggeration, okay? To enlarge or increase or represent something beyond normal, so that it becomes ridiculous and its faults can be seen. If you look at the example on the right, you see that there's two protesters. One is talking about saving the earth, the other is talking about being doomed. But if you look at the large group of people, the masses are more concerned about Twinkies. So if you can relate that to something in popular culture that you might have seen, perhaps you've seen the movie Zombieland, when one of the central characters is more interested in finding Twinkies often than his own safety. So it's an exaggeration. More characteristics, incongruity, it's when things are kind of out of place. So combat boots on a prom queen, for instance. Reversal, it's the opposite of a normal way of doing things. For example, the girl rescuing the boy in Shrek. There's many examples of reversal in Shrek. If you look at the traditional role of things, and I know most of you have seen that movie. Now, parody is a type of burlesque imitating the techniques of style of a particular work of author for comic effect. So the example I have above is Star Wars and Spaceballs. If you've never seen Spaceballs, I recommend it. It's kind of making fun of Star Wars. Irony is a contradiction. It's an incongruity. So things that are out of place between appearance, the exception, and reality. So there's different types of irony, of course. There's verbal irony. That's the most common. And situational irony. Situational irony happens within a certain series of events rather than statements. It's what's going on that is ironic rather than what's being said. So types of situational irony are dramatic. So If you can imagine some of those old cartoons with the coyote and the roadrunner, that's like dramatic irony. Soap operas are usually employ that type of dramatic irony. Every single horror movie you've ever seen ever uses dramatic irony. Tragic irony is another type of situational irony, and it's the consequences of the character's ignorance that's catastrophic. So Hamlet, or maybe even Romeo and Juliet, when at the end, and I know a lot of you know about that. So, a couple examples before we head out. And I will see you in my next video. Have a great day.